Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to do a speaker review and comparison between these two speakers. I don't usually do speaker reviews, but I do have a few videos on my channel. I think I did a few on the a few creative products, some Bose products. I think I did the Marshall Acton unboxing as well. But yeah, anyways, today we have the Klipsch the Three on the left side, and on the right side we have the Naim Audio Mu-So QB. Now I just picked this one up. The Naim Audio Mu-So QB originally retailed for like $1,000, I think, back in 2016 or 2017. So it's quite expensive originally. Naim Audio, for those of you who don't know, is a high-end British audio brand. They've been in business for like 50 years, I think, and they've been mostly focused on the high end. So just like Lin Audio and Meridian Audio and Bowers & Wilkins, so they're like the high-end British hi-fi brands, right? And so Naim Audio usually makes these luxury high-end audio products. So they originally had a long like soundbar type of device called the Mu-So, which originally retailed for $1,500, and this is the small square version, as you can see here, that retailed for $1,000. So a little bit less, but still expensive. Now I found this on discount on eBay. You can get these on eBay right now for around $350. So it's quite a huge discount from the original price, which is why I kind of picked it up, because I want to try it and see what it sounds like. Yeah, and the reason for the big discount is because Naim Audio just recently released the second version of their Mu-So QB, and that one is, again, $1,000, I think, which I don't think is worth it just for the few extra features of the new Mu-So QB. I think it only adds a few extra features, that's it. But anyways, I think the first generation is still a good value right now. You can pick it up for like a third of the original price. And then the Klipsch the Three I've had since 2017. I think this was also released around the same time as the Mu-So QB. I originally bought the Klipsch the Three to replace my Klipsch KMC3, which is also a really good speaker system as well. This one definitely has the aesthetic that I was looking for. Klipsch is a company that has been in business for like 70 years, I think. They're a really old company, and they're well known for making horn-loaded speakers. And their products are generally not as expensive as the Naim Audio products. And they're like a pure American manufacturer. They make their products in the US, and they've been in business for a while continuously. So Klipsch is a pretty good brand. They make some good value products. This originally retailed for $500, so cheaper than the Mu-So, and you can find it online right now for about $250 to $300-ish, I think. And I really like Klipsch products because they have this nice mid-century aesthetic look. As you can see, they use wood grain on a lot of their products, and it just looks like something that you would find from the 1950s, which is an aesthetic I generally like, especially because I'm kind of a guy who uses record players and turntables a lot, and this really meshes well with that. Alright, so first of all, let's go over the exterior and the controls of both of these devices. The Naim Audio Mu-So QB first. It has a gigantic volume dial on the top, and I think this can also be used to control the interface as well. There's a touch interface right here, which will light up once I boot it up. And then there's a speaker grill here, and I can actually show you the speakers here. So as you can see, there's actually 5 different speakers on the front here. So you have two speakers right here, another 2, and then a bigger one at the bottom. And you also have speakers on the sides here as well. I think these are radiators. So you can see that Naim Audio actually packed a lot of speakers into this small square form factor here. And the grill is removable, so you can actually swap it out, and they have a few different colors available, so you can match it with your decor. And then on the back here, they have a few different inputs. So this is the power cable, and then you can plug in a USB device here. It has universal plug and play. So if you have a USB full of music files, it'll play that. Ethernet, so you actually can play network music. So if you have music in a NAS or on a server somewhere, it can actually play from that. It has optical in as well, so that's useful if you have a game console or a TV. You can actually use this as a speaker for that, and then the aux for any of your other analog devices. So there's a lot of different inputs here. In addition, you can stream a bunch of things to it. So it has Bluetooth, AirPlay 2, Chromecast, Spotify Connect, Tidal, Deezer, iHeartRadio. It supports all those services. So there's a lot of different options you can use to play music from that. Now the Klipsch, still a lot of different options, but they are focused more on, again, the more analog, old school aesthetic, I guess. So first of all, I love the wood grain. I'm just generally a fan of it. And the aesthetic is really nice. You can see it has a copper spun controls right here, tactile controls. You have a switch right here to turn on and off, and then you have, this is the input switch. You can press down, select the input, and you can rotate it to select it, and then the volume dial right here. So I really like this copper wood grain aesthetic. Again, just like the Naim Audio Mu-So, there is a few different inputs, streaming inputs as well. So you have Wi-Fi, you actually have DTS Play-Fi, which you can use with your multi-room setup if you have one of those. And then kind of like a Sonos, I guess. And then you have Bluetooth, of course, but I don't think it has AirPlay, and it doesn't have the network connections like the Naim Audio Mu-So does. On the back, this is only for servicing. Then you have another USB audio input, which is, you have to use a USB Type B connector, I think, for this one. But it does have a USB in as well for music, USB audio. And then you have a phono preamp here as well. And they have RCA inputs. So this is actually really good if you have a turntable or record player, which I do. For those of you who like to listen to physical music, right, you have physical copies of your music, especially vinyl and LPs, I think the Klipsch is a really good choice. A built-in phono preamp, and you can also switch to line output as well. And then you even have a ground for your turntable as well. And then you have the aux in for other analog inputs. And yeah, I think just going from the high level, we haven't listened to how they sound yet, but at least from the high level, what we can see here is that the Klipsch is geared towards those who have a lot of analog sources, where you have a turntable or record player that meshes really well with this aesthetic. And it's just what Klipsch is really well known for, is this nice mid-century aesthetic. And then the Naim Audio Mu-So QB, it definitely looks more modern. So for those of you who stream a lot, and the Naim Audio Mu-So provides more support for that. If you have a lot of your music on networks or on servers, as an optical in, AirPlay, which the Klipsch doesn't have any of those things. So yeah, the main differentiator here, Naim Mu-So Audio, modern aesthetic. It has Ethernet, optical in, and more streaming support. The Klipsch, more mid-century aesthetic, has a phono or RCA input. So really great for those analog sources. And you can even tell from the control style, right? Like the Klipsch, you can only control from these analog controls right here, the tactile spun knobs, right? Again, very mid-century-ish. And then the Naim Audio has a more futuristic interface, similar to something you might find on a Tesla, on the inside of a Tesla car, right? So let's actually get down to the meat of this and compare the sound. How do they sound, right? Because figuring out what kind of source you're going to use is important, but we should also figure out how the speakers actually perform as speakers. So let's take a look. All right, so this is how I'm going to test these two speakers. I know like a lot of young people, they're probably just going to connect these to Bluetooth. They're going to download the apps for each of these and then connect it to their phone and hook it up. And like, I don't know, that's a little bit complicated for me. I'm just going to go old school, this quick and dirty way, which is just to connect it straight to the 3.5mm input, which both of these devices have. Straight up using an AudioQuest Evergreen 3.5mm cable to my Astel and Current A and Norma SR15, which has a pretty decent DAC and headphone amp. So I think this should be good enough. I'm going to play the same track on both, and yeah, let's see how they compare. First of all, the Klipsch does come with a remote. The Naim Audio does not. So it's your standard remote controls right here. You can select the input. I haven't talked about the speakers yet, but there's actually two tweeters right here. So it's actually stereo there, and then you have another woofer. So the size, the physical size of the Klipsch the Three is obviously also larger than the Mu-So QB. So it'll be interesting to see how they compare. So yeah, I'm just going to play the same track on both. Alright, so now we're going to try the Naim Audio Mu-So QB. Alright, connect to the aux, just like the Klipsch. And this one actually has a touch interface on top. So, like I said, the Naim Audio in general I think is a bit more modern than the Klipsch. And you can use this dial on top to rotate it to increase or decrease the audio. You can select your inputs from here as well. So I'm going to select it to the, that's actually, yeah, you can have up to 3 different inputs simultaneously here. And you can also listen to radio as well. So let's select it aux, and then we're going to play the same track again. Alright, so that was the Naim Audio Mu-So QB. Both of these tabletop speakers can get pretty loud. At least I think it can surprise some people. Louder than their size may indicate. So yeah, I think sound is subjective, so obviously feel free to make your own decisions. That was the same track played on both. By the way, I couldn't use any, that was an instrumental, I couldn't use any songs with vocals in them because of copyright reasons, because of YouTube, you know. So it is what it is, but so it's just that small, short part of an instrumental, but you know, try to take from it what you can, see which one is more fit to your taste. And yeah, I'd say in general, I'm not going to speak much about the sound quality because I think that's going to depend on the person. I think both of these are quite loud for their size, and I think both of these are generally pretty good values for their price. For their price points, I mean, on eBay right now. You can buy this for about $250 to $300, this one for about $350. So I think they're both pretty well valued right now. But like I said, the Klipsch probably geared towards those people who want more of a mid-century aesthetic, who have more analog sources probably, turntables and stuff like that. Although you can stream from it, not saying that you can't, so there's Bluetooth and more modern sources as well. But not as much as the Naim Mu-So Audio QB. Not as much as the Naim Audio Mu-So QB, right? This one has Ethernet, optical in, it has AirPlay 2, it has Chromecast, in addition to Bluetooth. So it definitely has more modern inputs, but it lacks the phono inputs. So this is definitely more for those people who have more modern input sources. But yeah, and also it looks more modern as well. But yeah, that's the Klipsch the Three versus the Naim Audio Mu-So QB, 2 tabletop speakers around the $300 range that both of them should be deserving of your attention, I think. And that's it. Thanks for watching.